Hi, this is Julie, and welcome to Throwback Thursday. In honor of Mother's Quest turning 5, this season 7 of the podcast will bring episodes to you every Thursday. In addition to new episodes, we'll also share some powerful conversations from the archives. Keep in mind while listening that you may hear about some events or offerings that are no longer current. But whether you've heard this episode before or it's new to you, I hope you'll find something here as relevant as ever to light your way. Now, onto the show. Hi, and welcome to Mother's Quest, a podcast for moms like me ready to live our own truly epic life. I'm Julie Neal, a life and leadership coach, community builder, writer, and mom to 2 high-energy boys who challenge me to grow into my best self. I'll be right there. Where was I? Hi, Mother's Quest community. At the time of this episode's release, we are at a crossroads in the United States. This election of 2020 is one of the most important in our history. As activist Michael Skolnik says, the election is not 7 days away. The election is now. Like so many of you, I'm asking myself what matters most, and what can I do that can have an impact in these 7 days? When I feel myself swirling, I remember I don't have to figure this out alone. So I reached out to you, fellow mothers and grandmothers, many of you activists, and asked for your words of wisdom. Ahead, I have 7 pieces of advice, reflections, or calls to action that we can all connect to for guidance and inspiration each day ahead. This is an election mini-sode because I wanted these to be bite-sized and easy to digest. Please join me in taking these words in, taking action, and paying the messages forward to other mothers in your network. Let's do this. The first piece of advice comes from Nancy Cavionis, co-author of Lose the Cape Volume 4, The Mom's Guide to Becoming Socially and Politically Engaged, and How to Raise Tiny Activists. Here she is.
Hi, Julie. It's Nancy. If I had any advice as a mother for people who haven't yet voted, it would be to remember that even if an issue doesn't impact you directly, it impacts somebody in your community. So when you see a ballot measure or a proposition on your ballot that you don't fully understand, it's worth it to take the time to do the research and dig in a little bit to figure out who is going to be impacted by a yes or a no vote on that proposition or measure. Because we're not voting just for ourselves, we're voting for our community.
Next, I turn to someone who has become one of my most powerful guides for stepping into courageous conversation about race and looking at the intersection of political activism and spirituality, Inclusive Life's Nicole Lee. Nicole is co-leading an event this Friday called Way Station that may be just the experience for pause and refueling you need in the last days of the election. Be sure to find that link in the show notes for more information.
This is Nicole Lee with Inclusive Life. What can we do in our last few days before the conclusion of the election of 2020? Well, each of us knows someone. We know someone who's on the fence. We know someone who may have decided they're not going to vote. They may feel like there's not a big difference, or they may feel like this election just simply isn't for them to weigh in on. Each one of us can talk to those folks, explain to them that this election is not just about us as individuals, but it's about us as a society. Which way do we want to go? Do we want to go towards a reactive, good old boys, good old days kind of mentality, or are we ready for something new? Do we want something refreshing and innovative that brings all people of all races and all ethnicities, all genders together, where we find collaborative solutions to our problems? We can make that case. We can encourage folks and affirm folks who might have a hard time voting. We can say to moms that we know, hey, you watch my kids and I'll watch yours. So we are able to go and vote. There's so many things we can do. And in the days ahead after the election, it is going to be so important that we are able to tap into our discernment, not just our logic, not just our head, not just our heart, not just our gut, but all of that to discern really what's happening and really what's important to us. To really utilize our discernment, a good friend of mine said to me, we also need to make sure we're in community, because it's gauging what's going on by how it impacts community, how it impacts people who are most vulnerable in our community is the most important.
When I'm feeling down, need a pep talk, and a comprehensive list of ways to engage, I turn to Kristen Rao Finkbeiner of Moms Rising. Listen in and you'll know why.
Happy election season! It's Kristen Rao Finkbeiner with Moms Rising. I'm so thrilled you're listening because we have 5 ways that you can help get out the vote. They're up on our website right now, www.momsrising.org. They're pinned to the top on our blog. The first way is to make your own voting plan. Go to our website, momsrising.org/momsvote, and figure out when, where, why, and how you can vote just by putting in your address. Will give you all your voting options. The second way to help get out the vote is to find 3 friends that you can give that information to and make voting a party. Pick your voting snack and your voting song and vote together. Have fun. The third way to help get out the vote is to actually volunteer, to text other moms who are low frequency voters and text out the vote. Give them the information they need to vote. The fourth way to get involved is to make phone calls to help get out the vote. And the fifth way to get involved is to have fun. Make voting a fun family activity. On the Moms Rising website, we have not only how to find out where you vote and what your voting options are personally, locally for you, we also have the links that you can volunteer to help get out the vote. And we also have fun family activities that you can download and play with your kids and your communities. Enjoy voting, and thanks for having me on.
When I asked my good friend Kate Amu-Godfried who she looks to for election inspiration and guidance, she said Kalima Salahuddin, who reminds us here to vote for our children.
Hello, my name is Kalima Salahuddin, and my advice to other mothers is just to vote for our kids. I've always taken my kids with me to vote at the ballot box to watch me, and now that they're adults, we all vote together, and it's one of the proudest days of my life. I vote for the children who live here in California, one of the wealthiest places on earth, but go to bed hungry. I vote for the children who still don't have access to quality education or an education that reflects who they are, especially our children of color. I vote for the over 500 children at the border who are separated from their parents due to this administration's monstrous policies. I vote for the children whose parents can't vote for them because of our arcane immigration laws, and they still don't have access to basic citizenship, even though they work so hard, are essential workers right now and pay taxes. I vote down ballot because it's not just important to vote for the president, it's also important to vote for the local elected officials that have huge impacts on our children's lives. And I vote in the memory of the ancestors who fought so hard so that I could vote with relative ease. They fought for those children, and so I continue the fight for the children that are here today and for future children. So the most mom thing we can do is to ensure that we vote and other moms vote with us.
Yesterday, I saw a post from my friend Jenna Schwartz that stopped my scroll. It was such a powerful list of the reasons why we need to get the vote out. I asked Jenna if she would share, and she said yes, and I plan to hold these reasons close.
I know a lot of us have a hard time understanding the quote other side when it comes to this election. So I took the opportunity last night when a Trump voter asked me what my reasons were for voting for Biden to actually respond. And these are some of the reasons I offered her. 1, as a Jew, the rise in anti-Semitism in the past 4 years is inarguably connected to Trump's rhetoric. 2, likewise, hate crimes against other historically oppressed groups have risen exponentially since 2016, with zero acknowledgement from the Trump White House. As long as other people are facing discrimination, none of us is truly free. Trump, on the other hand, only cares about the rights and protections of white Americans. He has not only refused to denounce white supremacy, but actively endorsed and incited violence against people of color, peaceful protesters, and those exercising their First Amendment rights. None of this is okay. 3. We all breathe the same air and drink the same water, and we are all facing the consequences of climate change. Biden believes in science, whereas Trump will continue to insist that we simply rake the forests and let the devastation continue unabated. 4. I believe in a woman's right not only to make her own reproductive choices, but to live free from misogyny. 5. As a gay woman, my marriage might be null and void if Trump is reelected. The homophobia and transphobia on this ticket are truly frightening and dangerous. 6. Trump has made decision after decision that make it clear that he has no interest in playing by the rules of democracy. Our country is sliding towards authoritarianism. This alone should be of grave concern to all Americans and reason enough to vote for Biden, no matter your personal opinion of him. 7. COVID. Trump not only failed to respond appropriately early in the pandemic, or even before it reached our shores, but has actively fostered a culture where caring for each other's well-being is mocked and discouraged. In what world is that okay, especially when more than 225 Americans have died so far of this virus? We need a president who believes and follows the guidance of scientists instead of putting his own ego first. 8. The rest of the world. Trump has done more to erode our relationships with international allies than any president in American history. Rebuilding will take time and is crucial to global prosperity and stability. 9. I would like my kids, who are 14 and 18, to be able to live in a country and a world and a future where it's possible to live in a safe, healthy life without being wealthy, white, straight, cisgender, and Christian. 10. I would like this for your kids and grandkids too.
The next clip has been edited from a longer talk I aired on the podcast a few weeks ago, care of the organization How Women Lead, with She the People's Amy Allison. She the People focuses on getting out the critical vote of women of color, especially in battleground states. Follow the link in the show notes to sign up for text banking through She the People on Wednesday.
Focus on is we cannot be moved. Every vote must be counted. In states like Arizona, they anticipate it's going to take 2 weeks to calculate all the vote by mail ballots. In states like Georgia, we already know from Stacey Abrams' experience the levels of trickery that's at play, that Trump is going to want to declare victory on the 3rd. We cannot allow that to happen. The reason is because we have had a lot of pressure, MSNBC, Fox, or CNN, or they want this to be an event with the screen point to the, do you remember the 2016 where it was like, you know, it's 10 at night, 11 at night, we're all watching it, and then they want to just project a winner. We cannot allow that to happen. And in our personal worlds, we can't allow that. And we have to set the expectation amongst all of us in our spheres of influence that the victor will not be declared on election day. I'll tell you why. The voter suppression is going to mean that there are significant fights. There already is every day, but significant legal fights, state by state. We're going to see irregularities that will be challenged in the courts. And I'm really glad NAACP Legal Defense Fund is one of the groups because they're going to be ready. Fair fight is another. And then at the state level, we already saw our partners on the ground, like Florida New Majority and New Georgia Project, run by this fantastic woman, Inse Ufot. They have legal teams that are going to be challenging the electoral practices and how the election goes on. And so what She the People is prepared to do is to push back, and we're working with a lot of women-led organizations, but a lot of organizations nationally, is the narrative cannot take hold. We cannot allow Trump to declare victory on election night. If we say not, then we're going to have to make sure the organizations who are driving narrative and driving the legal fight are resourced and ready to go. We have to be warriors in this moment.
The final piece comes from lifelong organizer, mother and grandmother, Leanne Hurst Mann.
My message is about how joyful this time can be for families. To me, elections are about leadership and legacy. I'm lucky because I can celebrate my ancestry. My great-grandmother was a suffragette. My grandmother, a Democratic Party activist. my mother an advocate for voting rights. They each engaged electoral politics because they believed in democracy. Every year, I set out their pictures and celebrate them with my daughters and grandchildren. We tell stories about how we gather on historic election nights, and we have fun. Right now, I'm organizing family caregivers through my national organization, Hand in Hand, a network of employers of domestic workers. We are mostly moms, and the workers are also mothers. So we work in coalition to make the domestic work visible. I am moderating a Facebook group called Caring Majority Rising. Every day we have new things for people to do. Writing cards, phone banking, making sure our friends vote, celebrating with selfies, joining Protect the Election groups that are already forming. My daughters are also spreading excitement through their big followings on social media. Yesterday, my youngest joked about me online. She said that I am running this election campaign like a mom, because every day I ask her to do something new. Of course, I commented back, but look again, I'm not organizing like a mother. I'm mothering like an organizer. We feel joy, not because the conditions of COVID or police violence are good, but because we're part of a larger movement. We are co-creating a real people's win, and we feel the joy of making history.
I hope this minisode has you, as it does me, ready to dig in, to connect to community, to engage in multiple ways, to vote for our children, to remember why this matters, to get the vote out with women of color, and to mother like an organizer. Together, we can do this. I'm Julie Neal, and this is Mother's Quest. Thank you so much for coming along with me on this episode of the Mother's Quest podcast. I hope this conversation sparked something that will help you live your epic life. If you'd like to get show notes and learn more about how to join the Mother's Quest community, visit mothersquest.com. And while you're there, I would love it if you would follow the prompts to subscribe, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, and help us to spread the word. I want to end with some words to help light the way on your quest. Seize the day, love your people, honor your gifts. Until next time.